Today's lesson is 3 tourist destinations with beautiful bodies of water. Hi, everybody. I'm Roger.
And I am Helen.
And today, Helen and myself are going to discuss places that have beautiful bodies of water. Of course, here in Taiwan, we've got lots of beautiful bodies of water, like, of course, the Pacific Ocean and the Taiwan Strait, and then Sun Moon Lake and other places like that. So, yeah, we probably don't really need to know too much about this, but there are some other places in the world that have beautiful lakes.
That's true. And I guess most of us, when we go abroad on holiday and we want to be close to water, we tend to go to beaches, we go to the seaside. But there are actually many bodies of water that are not the sea, that are lakes and rivers all over the world that are worthy of visiting. And today we're going to be talking about 3 of them.
And Helen, are you a fan of the ocean or do you prefer lakes?
I think if I had to choose, I would choose the ocean or the seaside because I prefer waves. I prefer bodies of water that have a little bit of movement. And usually lakes are very still, very placid. That's a word that we're going to be looking at. And that kind of freaks me out a little bit because I don't know what is living underneath inside this lake.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. I grew up around lakes, so I'm more familiar with lakes. And the ocean is kind of scary to me, especially when the sand sticks to your feet at the beach. I hate that. And you never know if there's a dangerous shark lurking beneath the waves there. But you don't always have to go swimming. You can go to these places to do other things as well. So let's get to it. Let's listen now to the first part of our lesson.
3 tourist destinations with beautiful bodies of water. Every year, millions of vacationers flock to the beach to enjoy the sun, sand, and sea that this traditional holiday destination offers. There are, however, many more watery wonderlands just waiting to be experienced. A stay next to a magnificent lake ringed by mountains can be wonderfully refreshing, and the colors reflected off the surface of the water in an underground sea cave can seem like the stuff of magic.
大家好，第一部分我们看到形容词 refreshing， 指使人精神焕发的、提神的、令人耳目一新的。举例来说 After all that exercise, I think it's time for a nice, refreshing shower. 做完那些运动后，我想该好好冲个澡，提振精神了。或是 Working outdoors was a refreshing change for Alan. 在户外工作对 Alan 来说是一个耳目一新的改变。另外，补充一个相关单字 refreshment, R-E-F-R-E-S-H-M-E-N-T, refreshment 这个字是名词，指茶点、点心。我们可以说 Refreshments will be served at the end of the meeting. 会议结束时会送上小茶点。接下来我们看到单字 reflect 这个字是动词，指反射、反应、反省，像是 reflect off 加名词就表示光线或声音反射在点点点。例如 The sunlight reflected off the windows of the car in front of me, making it very uncomfortable on my eyes. 阳光反射在我前方车子的车窗上，使我的眼睛很不舒服。或是 The errors in your report reflect your lack of care for what you do. 你报告中的错误反映出你对所做的事不用心。再举一个例子 The judge told the thief to reflect on his life of crime. 法官告诉小偷要反省他的犯罪人生。另外，补充一个相关片语 Be reflective of something. R-E-F-L-E-C-T-I-V-E. Be reflective of something. 表示可见点点点，代表点点点。举例来说 The car's good condition is reflective of how well the owner has taken care of it. 这部车子车况良好，可见车主对它保养有加。
And so let's dive right into today's lesson, which is 3 tourist destinations with beautiful bodies of water. So today we're talking about destinations. Now, this word basically means a place where someone would go or something would go to as a final stop. without going further. So I could say, for instance, Disney World is a popular vacation destination. Many people go there on holiday. Now, in this case of today's lesson, we're going to talk about 3 tourist destinations with beautiful bodies of water. That is, these places where people go to have beautiful bodies of water that attract visitors.
Right. This word destination, I get asked this word a lot when I take international flights. What is your final destination today? Because you might be on a flight and then you're going to change planes at another airport. So I'm always asked that question and I have to say, well, my final destination is Des Moines. We're going to fly from Taipei to Japan and then to San Francisco and then to Denver and then to Des Moines. So yes, my final destination would be Des Moines. Now here in the first paragraph it says, every year millions of vacationers flock to the beach to enjoy the sun, sand, and sea that this traditional holiday destination offers. So if you're a vacationer, you're a person who is on vacation or you're on holiday, you have some time off and you're going on a fun-filled trip somewhere. You're not going on business. It's for pleasure.
That's true. So many people who go on vacation or vacationers, they tend to go to the beach if they're looking for sun, sand, and sea. And the beach is the traditional holiday destination. However, there are actually many other different destinations that people can choose if they want these things. It says here there are, however, many more watery wonderlands just waiting to be experienced. So what would be an example of one of these experiences? Well, for instance, a stay next to a magnificent lake ringed by mountains can be wonderfully refreshing, and the colors reflected off the surface of the water in an underground sea cave can seem like the stuff of magic. Yes, indeed, these experiences, these places do seem highly unusual, and they do seem like very refreshing places to visit.
Indeed. So we're talking about one particular body of water here. It could be a lake in the mountains, and it would be ringed by mountains. It would have mountains surrounding it or mountains on all sides. Just like here in Taiwan, we've got Sun Moon Lake, which is ringed by mountains. And it is a magnificent lake. Here, the word magnificent is a word we use to describe something that is really great. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. It's super. It's just great. So, yes, magnificent. And, of course, magnificent is based on the word magnify, which is a verb. And usually we use that to refer to making things look bigger in a microscope or through a magnifying glass, to magnify something, to make it look bigger. And yes, this lake is magnificent. It's great. It's wonderful. There's no question about that.
Right. And you can use magnificent to substitute great when you're describing something like, we had a magnificent time during our holiday in Europe. We saw many things and we had many wonderful experiences. Our holiday was magnificent. Now, this experience could also be highly refreshing. Refreshing here refers to something that is welcome, that is liked because it is different or exciting. So it's unusual. It's not like any of the experiences that you've had before. So it's fresh. It gives you a feeling of something new. And visiting such places like a lake that is surrounded by mountains could be a very refreshing experience. And it's something that people have not done a lot of.
Yep, it's the stuff of magic, which is a fancy way of saying it's magical, it's wonderful, it's fantastic, it's like you're dreaming about it. Okay, that brings us to the end of the first part of our lesson. Let's move on to the next part and talk about something in Italy.
Italy's Blue Grotto, a gorgeous sea cavern located on the island of Capri, makes for an excellent day trip from Naples. Once the personal swimming hole of a Roman emperor, this cave is now famous for the effect that the sunlight, which streams in through the entrance, has on the surface of the water. Tourists must enjoy the water's shining silver and alternating shades of turquoise and royal blue from a boat, however, as it is forbidden to swim there.
第二部分我们看到名词 cavern 指大洞穴、大山洞，例如 Reed and I had an amazing time exploring and photographing the caverns of South Dakota. Reed 和我在探索和拍摄南达科他州的大洞穴时非常开心。
And welcome back. So we're going to continue our discussion today on tourist destinations with beautiful bodies of water. And when we talk about this subject, of course, we cannot exclude Italy's Blue Grotto. Now, Italy's Blue Grotto is a gorgeous sea cavern located on the island of Capri, and it makes for an excellent day trip from Naples.
Okay, so if you're in Italy, you could head out to this island, the island of Capri. That's how most people pronounce the name of this, but Helen, you happen to know some Italian, and in Italian, it's actually pronounced Capri. Am I correct?
Yeah, that's true. But, you know, a lot of Italian words, when they become anglicized or when they become adopted into the English language, actually changes pronunciation. So I guess both are acceptable.
Okay, so in any case, the main point of this sentence is to tell us about the Blue Grotto, which is on this island, and it's gorgeous. If something's gorgeous, it is really, really beautiful. You could describe a woman as being gorgeous. To me, of course, a pretty woman is pretty, but then a gorgeous woman is not only pretty, but she's got a lot of class as well. So yeah, you can be pretty and then you can be gorgeous. I would say gorgeous is better than being just pretty. And yes, this island, or at least this cave, is gorgeous.
Yes, and the word gorgeous can also mean enjoyable. So you can also say we had a gorgeous dinner at that luxury French restaurant yesterday. So Italy's Blue Grotto is a gorgeous sea cavern, and it's a lot of fun, and a lot of people go there when they're in Naples and they want to take a day trip away from the city of Naples. Now, once the personal swimming hole of a Roman emperor, this cave, we're talking about the Blue Grotto, is now famous for the effect that the sunlight, which streams in through the entrance, has on the surface of the water.
Interesting. So we're describing this as a swimming hole, which is basically a place where someone goes swimming, especially if it's kind of small and surrounded by steep sides, like in a cave or something. And, of course, it's famous for that effect of the sunlight. It streams in through the entrance. So, yeah, stream here, we're familiar with that word when we're on the internet watching a movie through Netflix or whatever. We stream the movie. So here we're adding the preposition in to stream in. That sunlight kind of just comes into the cave like as a sun rays or something like that, and then it reflects off the surface of the water, and it's fantastic. It's wonderful. It's gorgeous.
Yes, just imagine you have this cave in the middle of the sea, and it's basically a big rock with a hole in it, and it's dark inside, and on a sunny day, and it's usually sunny in Naples, the sun streams in, so it goes into the cave in this steady flow of light, and it's reflecting off the water, and it's an incredible visual experience.
Right. If you haven't seen it yourself, of course, go onto YouTube and search for Blue Grotto. I'm sure lots of people have happily posted videos of this effect that the sunlight has when it streams in through the entrance. And tourists must enjoy the water's shining silver and alternating shades of turquoise and royal blue from a boat. However, as it is forbidden to swim there. So yes, you must enjoy this particular scene from your boat. You're not allowed to swim there. It is forbidden. If something's forbidden, it is just simply not allowed. If you do it, you're going to get in trouble. And of course, we got alternating colors here. They kind of go back and forth.
That's right. If something alternates, or if one thing alternates with another, they happen one after another, usually in a regular pattern that keeps on repeating. So in this case, if you're a tourist and you're visiting the Blue Grotto, you will see alternating shades of turquoise and royal blue. So these are two different shades of blue. Turquoise is more of a green blue color. It's also the name of a stone of that color. And royal blue is a darker blue. And you can see these alternating shades, these shades that go back and forth, that flicker perhaps, from your boat, because you can only visit the Blue Grotto by boat, as it is forbidden. It is not allowed to swim there. Now, probably many years ago, people were able to swim there. They were able to take their boat there and then get out of the boat and then swim into the grotto. But these days, with mass tourism, that grotto will surely fill up with a lot of people if people were allowed to swim in there.
Yes, everybody would like to have that experience to tell their grandchildren about when they're older. So, yeah, they just said, nope, you guys can't swim there. It's forbidden. You might cause too much damage to the cavern there. Cavern is just another word for a cave. Okay, that brings us to the end of the second part of our lesson for today. Let's now go on to Hallstatt.
Known as the Pearl of Austria, Hallstatt is a picture postcard town next to a placid lake. Wooden houses line the edge of the water, their reflections thrown back at them from the lake's surface. When mist rises up the nearby mountains, the view is truly majestic. Additional tourist attractions include a salt mine, ice caves, and a church filled with decoratively painted human skulls.
第三部分，我们看到单字 placid， 这个字是形容词，指宁静的、温和的，像是 Linda fell in love with the placid atmosphere of that little village. Linda 爱上那个小村庄宁静的氛围。再来，我们看到副词 majestic， 指壮观的、雄伟的，像是 The explorers took photos of the area's majestic beauty. 探险者拍摄了那个地区壮丽美景的照片，或是 Henry lives in that majestic old house at the top of the hill. Henry 住在山丘上的雄伟老房子。最后，我们看到单字 decoratively， 这个字是副词，意思是装饰性的。举例来说 Diana places the apple slices decoratively on a beautiful plate for the dinner party. Diana 为了晚宴，将苹果切片装饰性的摆放在一个美丽的盘子上。
And welcome back. So before we were talking about Italy, we were talking about Naples' Blue Grotto, and now we're going to move on to Austria and to Hallstatt, which is a picture postcard town next to a placid lake. So I have never been to Hallstatt before, but from this description, it seems that Hallstatt is a very good place for taking pictures, and every picture you take, you'll probably get a very nice picture, a very nice scene of the place. So it is a picture postcard town. It is very photogenic, and it's located next to a placid lake.
Exactly. Placid here just means peaceful. It doesn't have a lot of waves on it. There aren't any big storms there, and you're certainly not going to be attacked by a great white shark there. Now, wooden houses line the edge of the water, their reflections thrown back at them from the lake's surface. So you probably have to go there to actually see this effect for yourself to know what we're talking about here, because it's just really hard to describe something that is so beautiful. But we're trying here. We have some wooden houses. They're made out of wood. They're not made out of concrete or bricks or whatever. They're made out of wood, and they line the edge of the water. They're right next to the water's edge there. So you get these reflections on the lake's surface, and they are reflected back at you, or those reflections are thrown back. So a reflection, of course, is the image you get when light bounces off a mirror or the surface of a lake.
Right, so we can imagine that these wooden houses are so close to the edge of the lake that you can actually see their reflections on the surface of the lake. And we can also imagine that the lake must be very clear and very crystalline in order to be able to reflect the image of the wooden houses back. So we can sort of get an idea of the scene from this description here. Now, when mist rises up the nearby mountains, the view is truly majestic. So if we go there and it's misty, that is, there is vapor in the air, and this vapor, this mist rises up in the nearby mountains, then this scene becomes all the more beautiful. It becomes all the more majestic. Something that is majestic is big, beautiful and very impressive, but in a calm way, not in an excitable, in a very active way. So you can say that mountains are majestic because there's something silent and peaceful about them, and lakes are majestic.
Yeah, to me, it's something that is standing up like a castle. That's a majestic castle, or majestic mountains, as if it were describing the royal family, your majesty. Majestic, of course, is based on the word majesty here. And additional tourist attractions include a salt mine, ice caves, and a church filled with decoratively painted human skulls. Now, that's what I want to see. The human skull is a beautiful work of art, and in this particular case, they are decoratively painted. Ooh, that's a very difficult word to say there. Decoratively painted. If you happen to be down in Mexico during Dia de los Muertos, you'll see lots of skulls painted in bright colors. This is probably similar to that because they're decorated or decoratively painted. This is an adverb here. And those are some examples of beautiful bodies of water. We'll talk about some more next time. But before we say goodbye today, we need to hear from our Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第二部分介绍到意大利的蓝洞，它是一个位于卡普里岛很壮观的海蚀洞。那从那不勒斯出发会是很棒的一日游。文中用到 makes for an excellent day trip， 那这边它是用到片语动词 make for 来当及物用，那么 make for 加名词就可以表达导致啊、造就或是促成什么发生，使什么成为可能的意思。例如 all the performers are very talented, which should make for a great show. 所有的表演者都非常有才华，应该会造就一场很精彩的表演。好，那么读到课文第三部分的第二句，他说 Wooden houses line the edge of the water, their reflections thrown back at them from the lake's surface. 同学们有没有注意到句子里面没有连接词，然后后半句的主词 their reflections后面竟然是直接接过去分词 thrown。 好，这其实是独立分词构句的用法哦。那么在介绍这个用法之前，我们先复习分词构句的用法。用对等连接词 and 来连接两个主词相同的子句时，我们可以省略 and， 然后把其中一个主词省略，再把那一句的动词改成分词，你可以改成现在分词 VING 或者是 PP 过去分词 PP。那这时候它的判断就是在于动词，这个动词如果原本是主动，就用现在分词 VING， 如果是被动，就用过去分词 PP。 举例来说 He walked into his study, sitting down at the desk. 他走进他的书房，并坐在书桌前。那么 sitting down at the desk 就是用现在分词 sitting 开头的分词构句， sitting 是从 and he sat 简化而来的。好，那我们接着来看独立分词构句的用法。以对等连接词 and 去连接两个主词不一样的子句时，可以省略 and， 然后把其中一个子句的动词改分词。要特别注意，在这个用法里面，两个主词不一样嘛，它们是各自独立的，都不能省略。就像我们课文的句子，它原本可以写作 Wooden houses line the edge of the water, and their reflections are thrown back。好，前半句的主词是 wooden houses， 后半句的主词是 their reflections， 前后主词不同，所以这两个主词都要保留，都不能省略哦。然后我们接着省略连接词 and， 再把后半句的动词 are thrown 这个被动用法，只要保留过去分词 thrown 就可以了。于是呢，逗号后方的 and their reflections are thrown 就被简化成 their reflections thrown。 好，那我们最后就帮同学们再整理一下。分词构句跟独立分词构句都是省略连接词，并且把其中一个动词改成分词的结构。那差别就在于，当前后主词相同时，可以省略其中一个主词，这时候它就称为分词构句。当前后主词不同时，必须两个都保留，那这时候称为独立分词构句了。好，以上是今天重点整理，我们来回顾今天的单字吧。
Destination.This popular tourist destination offers something for the whole family. Magnificent. The United States is home to some magnificent mountain ranges. Refreshing. Lana lay on the beach, enjoying a refreshing drink of iced lemonade. Reflect. The windows of the car reflected the orange glow of the streetlights. Gorgeous. Where did you buy that dress? It's absolutely gorgeous. Alternating. Michael wore a shirt with alternating blue and green stripes. Forbid. The art gallery forbids using flash photography near its most expensive pieces. Majestic. Madeline stared in wonder at the majestic castle on the hill.
Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of our program, and please make sure you join us again next time. From all of us here, I am Roger.
I'm Helen.
See you next time.